Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our video review of the Himini Bluetooth wireless speakers. These pairs of speakers retail for under $100, making them a pretty good value if you want a pair of disposable speakers you can use to carry around with you when you're traveling for louder sound, perhaps at parties. They do have a quite loud volume for the size of them, so they are pretty impressive in that facet, which we'll discuss in a moment. And again, as a Bluetooth pair of speakers, they will work with virtually any device, again with Bluetooth. From iPads to iOS devices to Androids, Blackberries, Windows devices, and also PCs and Macs. The shape of the product is pretty round and pretty generic. It also attracts, a fair amount of attention. It's interesting to look at, but also not too flashy or anything like that. Some interesting thing about this particular speaker is that it's very eco-friendly. For example, the actual speaker itself is made out of 20% partially recycled plastic, so it eliminates waste. It's eco-friendly and biodegradable. And the same thing can be said about the actual packaging, which is out of 85% recycled paperboard. So despite looking like it's a pretty professional packaging, it actually is, it is pretty professional packaging, but it's also very much recyclable that you can use if you are eco-friendly. It's also great for the environment. So again, it's actually rechargeable. It uses a lithium-ion battery for you to power the product. It can still be powered on when the product is plugged into the wall. And again, essentially that's it as far as the packaging is considered. It's by DiGiYes, which their slogan is Power Smart Life. And again, it's pretty professional as far as how the outside of the package actually looks. There's a simple tape holding the package into place, and after you order this product from Amazon.com, it usually arrives in 3 to 5 days, so pretty fast shipping from the actual manufacturer and distributor. A simple magnet is holding the actual box into place, and on the inside we have access to the speaker itself, which is right on top, presented quite well. We'll take a look at that in a moment. Down below here we have a foam protective piece, and below that we have a printed black and white user's manual, which you can look through, and it tells you how to charge the unit. On the back, it's the same manual printed in Mandarin Chinese. Over here, we also have access to the micro USB charging cable. It allows you to, again, charge the product by plugging it into the wall. A full charge takes about 2 hours to complete, and then you can reuse the Bluetooth speaker itself for listening to music. There's also a bundled 3.5mm headphone jack on both ends, so this is an auxiliary jack, which allows you to connect to wired connections like smartphones, tablets, computers, in case you don't want to use the Bluetooth functionality and you want a bit more connectivity and better audio quality. You can always use this, and it saves a bit more battery life as well. And essentially that's it as far as the packaging. Taking a closer look at the actual speakers themselves, again, I am a fan of the round shape. They are pretty unique, again, to look at. They're attractive, but also pretty mundane. They won't be too flashy, but they are, again, quietly attractive is how I would describe them. And it comes, again, in this black and white look to it, and has this very shiny piano black finish on the sides, which attracts a lot of fingerprints, but again, it adds to the shininess of the plastic of the build, which I do think is pretty attractive. The front of the unit is dominated by a DiGiYes logo and the actual speaker itself, which is the two speakers on either side, the left and right, are hidden behind the faceplate itself. The top of the unit controls the power on and off, the volume, and also the play and pause. These buttons are risen above the surface and fairly easy to press by feel, so they are tactile and easy to press. There is nothing on the left hand side. On the back of the unit we have access to a micro USB for charging and syncing the speaker, turning the Bluetooth device on and off, and the auxiliary jack for plugging in a pair of wired connections. There's also a built-in kickstand, so you simply prop that up. You have some more information relating to the speaker on the back and the battery, and now we can have the speaker itself sit at a comfortable angle when we're actually using it. So it's a nice design from the manufacturer. The bottom also features 2 rubber feet, which prevents the unit itself from sliding around on different surfaces, so it's a nice addition by the manufacturer. So overall, it's a pretty good aesthetic design that we are fans. The performance of the Himini digital Bluetooth speaker by DiGiYes, while it's pretty solid, isn't the best we've seen in this particular subcategory. That said, it's still a very respectable speaker with a lot of features for the money. So if we play back a bit of music over here, we can see that there's a bit more hissing behind the actual speakers themselves, so not the clearest sounding audio that you can get, especially in this category. We've seen better by the company itself, especially if we play and pause music and we again pause it through our Kindle device over here. you can hear there's a bit of hissing going on in the background itself when you're playing back the music. So again, it's not the most clear sounding speaker, unfortunately, in terms of tone reproduction. That said, it's still quite loud and pretty easy to control, and if you want a more clear experience when playing back your music, you could always go ahead and use the auxiliary jack on the back of the unit, which provides a sharper and better sound quality in general. That said, the volume of the device itself is actually quite loud. It can get to a pretty, again, high volume, so if you do need this for a party environment, it does work pretty well. So again, we can turn the volume up quite loud on the device itself, and of course, using the actual device that you're connected to. In this case, we're using a tablet. Let's turn up the volume. So again, the volume is quite loud. So overall, the actual quality of the music experience is pretty good as far as playing back general sounds and general qualities. Again, you're not going to get the most crisp experience, but it's pretty good in terms of mid-end tones and bass reproduction, surprisingly, for such a small speaker. Not as great for higher pitches and higher tones. So if you have a lot of high notes in a particular song you're listening to, it crackles a bit more than, again, what we're used to. Battery life on the unit itself is actually pretty impressive. It lasted us easily 2 to 3 weeks before we had to recharge it, especially with frequent usage in between. We also like how on this particular speaker, there's a play-pause key integrated on the device that also controls your tablet or smartphone you're connected to. So you play the play button on here, it's going to play back the song automatically directly from the device. And it takes a bit more time than I guess what we might be used to, but it still works, and it's something that not every single device has. And again, there's a bit of a delay, but at least you can play and pause it from the product in addition to your device that you're using. The also onboard controls over here are pretty tactile, and they're pretty responsive as far as placement and being pretty much risen above the surface for easy pressing, which we do like and appreciate. So as far as performance, generally solid. Again, if you do want some party music going, it's very portable. The design is pretty attractive. Simply unhinge the kickstand and you can take it in your pocket again. Again, a pretty attractive speaker overall. Not the best in terms of sound quality, but then again, for the money, I wanted to share that the company perhaps could improve on would be the startup tones of the speaker itself. It's actually quite loud and can't really be controlled. So if we turn the product off by holding on the power key for a few seconds, again, there's a blue LED indicator to tell you when you're pairing with your device, and pairing is very simple. We simply press on the power key, the actual light's going to start flashing, and we can connect it within a matter of 30 seconds. So very fast connection. So let's press on it again. It's quite loud, I'm going to warn you. So there you go. There's that very loud sound that unfortunately can't be turned off that I think can be a little bit distracting, disturbing, depending on where your environment is. But otherwise, it definitely works. The DiGiYes Hemini wireless Bluetooth speaker is a great value if you are looking for something that produces a lot of volume and onboard integrated play-pause controls, in addition to a really easy to use experience in terms of connecting to your media devices. However, if you do require the best audio quality, there are better options even directly from the manufacturer. And so overall, we would recommend it, but also say that there are a few better options out there on the market. Thanks for watching this video review, and be sure to check out our full written review down in the description box below. This has been OS Reviews, and thank you for watching.